Welcome back, everybody, to the Philly Escape Pod, a Sports John episode 23. I'm joined here with my boys, Caputi, Brits, and Flay, and we're talking Eagles playoffs. Eagles are in the playoffs. Who would have thought? Let's fucking go, baby.
Oh,
What do you
Who
guys
would have
think?
thunk it?
who would have
Who would have
thought
thunk
is
it?
right, and
How
not
did we get
us
here?
apparently. If you go
Not
back
us.
to
Not us.
6 episodes ago or so.
Yeah, well, I mean, pretty much the entire season, I feel like we were like, there's no chance they're making it at first. We were like, this is a rebuilding season. Then we started to get some hope. The hope was quickly killed after the Falcons game. We start out 2-5. Nobody thinks anything's
Wait,
going to
no, we beat
happen.
the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm saying we won the
Oh
Falcons
yeah,
game,
yeah.
and everybody was like,
Yeah.
we're like, we're going to be way better than we thought. And then we just proceeded to lose, like, 4 in a row or
Five,
something?
5 of 6, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we looked horrendous. And now granted, this streak has been against horrible teams that we've beaten, and we did lose to the Giants. But we're
Yeah.
in. We did what we needed to do. Jalen Hurts gets early playoff experience. Sirianni gets some playoff experience. You love it. Well, first of all, before we get into that, let's get into this Dallas game.
Actually,
Yeah.
I wanted to
Let's
say
break
something.
it down.
I wanted to say something about what you just said a little bit. You say we everybody's saying how we beat only bad teams and all these guys that we're playing against are not playoff teams. But you know what? I think we were 2-5 or 2-6
Five.
before we started running the goddamn ball. Right? If we were running the goddamn ball like we were the rest of the second half of the season, I think we beat the Chargers. I think we even maybe beat the Bucks. I think we maybe beat a couple of those teams that we lost by a game-winning field goal to the Chargers and 6 points to the Bucks.
We'll get to
I
see
think
this
100%
weekend.
we would have beaten the Chargers. I don't know if we would have beaten the Bucks, but I think we would have beaten the 49ers and the Raiders too.
Yeah, Niners, Raiders.
Yeah,
We got to think at least get 2 of those games.
Think about it. 2-5 at the point after the Raiders, where we're like down and out, watching it at Britz's house, the block party, and it's like,
That was
all
tough.
right, this team has no hope. End of the season, right? They start running the ball. After that point in time, they go 7-3. So even though it's 7-3 against bad teams, 7-3 is a hell of a good streak in
Yeah.
the NFL.
That's-
You beat like a Chargers team, you beat like a Bucks team, just like Britt said, and
Hey, the Chargers aren't in the playoffs, man. That's all I'm saying.
they're not in the playoffs. A couple episodes ago, which is in reality like 2 months ago, episode 21, we were at 4-6. We just beat the Broncos. We needed to go to 5-2, or that's at least what we expected to go to make playoffs. That's what we did. I thought it was more realistic to go 4-3. It seems like we could have gone 6-1 and like been a 10-7 type team. That's kind of what this team feels like right now, even though it says 9-8. I feel like we are just in the mix of 10-7, kind of like a Niners, like Cardinals team right now. Like I feel like we should be. I think we are what our record and what the playoffs says it is, right? I feel like we are a top, 14 team in this league. And to say that for this year's expectations, where we didn't even think we'd make playoffs, we didn't even think, Jeff Lurie, the owner, said it. It's a transition year, and we're in playoffs, boys. It's playoff times. It's Eagles playoff time. Let's go.
Well, I think what's insane about it is like you said, like we're if we didn't collapse against the Giants, if we
Yeah.
played our starters against the Dallas in the last game, the Cowboys, and if we ran the ball earlier in the season, we could have easily been 12-5, which is quite frankly
It's
nuts.
crazy to say, but it's
I'll
not
give a
that far.
couple
It's
wins.
not that
I'll give a couple
far-fetched.
wins.
It's
Yeah.
not that far-fetched to say
It's
that we
not.
could have had a couple of those early wins.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's first break it down by how much Dallas actually sucks, because it was pretty ridiculous. Like we were saying earlier, Bear Juju to do stuff like that. We'll break into our season feels. All right, why this is a successful season. I'm not even going to ask, because you guys, I think we all have the same answer. It was a success. And then playoff time. What do we need to do against the Bucks? They beat us the first time, but I think there's reasons that we can actually beat them this time around, plus any given Sunday, right?
Right.
Dallas sucks. Like or respect what Dallas's approach was. I got my own feelings. What do you guys think on what they decided to do this past Saturday?
I actually got quite a bit to say about this.
Disrespectful.
I mean, it's
A typical Dallas scum move.
there's like two sides of it, and like the first part is I understand playing your starters, try to get some momentum going into the playoffs. I mean, when you're playing your starting quarterback when you're up by 20 points, though, you're just a bunch of scumbags. Like, how can
Yeah.
you put Dak out there in the fourth quarter? How? I don't understand. But he broke some meaningless like personal record, and that's how they justified
Yeah,
it.
right. They're making a big deal out of
It was
it,
like a
and
personal, 5 touchdowns
Yeah.
in one game or something. Like, dude, nobody cares about that. Like,
Well,
nobody.
not even that. Beating
put a little
Romo's
asterisk next to that one.
single season record, which again,
Oh,
17 games, he wouldn't have beat if he didn't have that extra game.
nobody cares
So,
about that, dude. And then
no,
also,
I know.
I mean, I understand I think they did end up getting a higher seed because they beat us, which I guess is like whatever. But like, I mean, you're in the middle of the pack seeds. Like, you're probably gonna play like the same team where it's a team similar skill level anyway. So, I mean, they're playing the Niners. Niners are no pushovers. So it's like, did you really even help yourself? I don't know. It's just ridiculous. 56 points, dude. Come on.
To even play Dak in the third against the backups, second stringers, maybe even third stringers in
I
some
don't
of
think
these
we had a
players.
lick of guys that are actually like listed on the depth chart. Not that's what
And the
I'm
Yeah, I mean,
way
I'm not mad at the result from an Eagles perspective.
the worst part of all this is Dak's how much he celebrated after each touchdown. It's
Yeah,
like,
he
dude,
was.
just I get like I agree with Brits completely, all the same reasons. If you want to get your team in a momentum, some momentum before the playoffs, fine, do it in the first half. Take a big risk by leaving those guys in there just for injuries. But to just kind of run up the score, it just kind of felt like a Tom Landry, Buddy Ryan feuding. Don't know if this is any kind of retaliation against Sirianni wearing the Dallas t-shirt earlier this year. But it was just it was a douche move. It was just they want to stick it to us for some weird reason. But they looked worse, in all of it because our backups actually made it a decent game.
Yeah,
Gave them a run for
we
their
put
money
up 26 points.
in
I
the
mean, it's
beginning.
not even. That's not that bad.
So
It was better than the
That's-
first game.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
actually true.
yeah, almost a similar score against
Well, that's what
starters.
you guys are saying. It's sort of disrespectful and stuff, and I'm going more at it with the perspective that it was kind of embarrassing. I thought, because like
Yeah.
I get
Oh,
like you
that
guys are
too.
saying,
That too.
I get it. Like you might want to play your starters for the first half. You want to build momentum because they've been quite frankly doing horrible the past few games, and well, that's what like a lot of people are saying the same thing about them. They haven't beaten anybody good, and I just don't understand A, why keep playing the starters in the second half when you're risking injury? And B, like you're saying, it's just embarrassing to celebrate like that. You're playing a team, it's like you're playing a practice squad team. You're playing like a team that you should absolutely be scoring against. You shouldn't be like so stoked that you scored a bunch of points against people that like never played in the NFL, like meaningful snaps. And it's like on top of that, I think it's kind of annoying that the media has gone to start saying headlines like Eagles steamrolled by the
Yeah,
Cowboys and like Cowboys absolutely dominate the Eagles. What do you? That's such free clickbait,
I
dude. Like,
was.
are you kidding me? That's not telling the whole story. They
Yeah.
of course, if they didn't steamroll us, that would have been embarrassing. It's
I
just, and
was.
quite frankly, like you guys are saying, their defense should have played better against our second and third stringers than they did. So like, it wasn't even like they looked like the best team in the world playing against us. It's just I don't know. It was weird and it was embarrassing, I think.
It just screams that Dallas is the type of team that could
Insecurities, dude.
choke the playoffs because they got used to being we're so good playing against a practice squad. Then you actually face a real team. It
Yeah.
just screams Dallas choking, and then it screams the
When
Eagles
did
could be a scary team in the playoffs because of
You
how
guys
well
want
they
to
do.
put some predictions on the Dallas San Fran game?
Well, I was actually just about to say,
Yeah,
when do they play?
Ooh,
Do they
they
play before or after us? Let's see
I
this.
think
Dallas.
they're a Sunday night game.
Okay, so we got the 1 o'clock game. I
We
don't know
got
if
the
it's
1 o'clock
Saturday. Oh yeah, they're Sunday 4:30, so they're
predictions.
right after us.
Ooh.
I mean,
I
San
obviously
Fran
we want
35, Dallas 26. I'll
Dallas to
say.
lose this game, so I feel like we're all gonna predict them to lose. But it's the Niners have so many issues, and I don't know if Jimmy G's actually gonna be good enough. I don't know. It's weird that they've been a lot better the last couple games, and I feel like Dallas has had a lot of offensive struggles, and that defense for 49ers is really good.
Well, that's like
I guess
Elliott's not playing good at all right now.
I could see it being like a game where Dallas's offense struggles and Niners keep it close, and maybe like the Niners win like a 21-17
yeah,
game or
I
something
feel
like
like
that.
it's a close game win. I don't
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like
Because if you think about it, all the games where the reason why Dallas is 12-5 is because of their defense. They've had so many games where their defense just bailed them out when the offense was struggling. And their defense is like so good, but at the same time they give up so many yards. So much. They give up so much offensive yards. Like I think Trayvon Diggs is one of the best corners in the NFL, everybody says, but he's also statistically the worst one-on-one receiver in the NFL. I mean, cornerback.
He's almost like the Alex Singleton of cornerbacks in a way.
He has 12 interceptions or some shit, but he has like 1,000 yards given up.
Not a bad comparison. In a weird way, yeah. Most interceptions allows the most yards. Same thing with Singleton, has like the team's most tackles.
Yeah.
But what do they count for if they're
Yeah,
tackles
what else is he doing?
after an 8-yard, catch by a receiver?
Most tackles, but probably also most yards given up.
It's
right?
how I mean that's actually exactly how it is because they're throwing to the guy Singleton's covering and he's just tackling them.
Right, 'cause
And
he's
then
wide open,
and you're
and he's
throwing
the
to
one
Trayvon Diggs
there.
guy because he might intercept it, but also he might give up a 60-yard bomb.
And that's what, for me, I think that, like you guys were saying, Dallas's offense had been struggling. The run game hasn't been as good as it used to be. I think what's going on with their receivers? Is Gallup hurt or something?
Gallup tore his
done.
ACL, I think.
Yep, so he's done.
Gallup's done.
I mean,
I
let's
think
not overstate it though. Dallas is still a good team. Like
Dallas is still a good team, but I think the 49ers are potentially a better team. I think the 49ers are a scary team. And I think that with Dallas's defense being like, great at turnovers, but they give up a lot of yards. And I think that like Debo and Ayuk
Samuel
are
is
absolute
scary.
beasts. Mitchell's back, and I think that they're going to be able to put up a lot more points on Dallas's defense, and I think Dallas is going to be able to put on San Fran's defense. I think Dallas is going to have a couple drives stall because they try to run the ball too much, and I think that's going to be kind of what dooms them in this game. And I think they might lose by over a touchdown.
In conclusion, you said that you think you think that San Fran's going to put up more points than Dallas is, so therefore they will lose the game or they win the game.
I just feel like Dallas has like, I don't know. I just think they're uneven. Like they're.
No, I know what you're saying.
San Fran will put up more points, therefore we'll lose the game.
Call me John Madden, whatever. Call me John Madden.
I don't know. Maybe you know something that we don't, where they can still win or still lose.
My reasoning wasn't that they're gonna put up more points. My reasoning is that they're gonna have drives stall out because of the run game, and I think Dallas will put up more points, or I think Dallas will put up less points than San Fran, so therefore they will lose.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Way to bring it back.
So you're saying the scoreboard will show? Never mind. I'm beating a dead horse.
I think this is just a game where Dak just chokes. Like I think it's playoff time. It's more serious. He can put up points. We've seen that he can do that, but I feel like 49ers defense steps up big. And then as long as Debo does what he does, as long as you just hand it off to him, just get the ball in his hands by any means necessary, I think you're in good hands. And then hopefully, speaking of hands, Jimmy G is okay with whatever injury he has. But I don't know. I think it's a scary lower seeded teams, Eagles, Niners. You're gonna treat us with some respect. I think
That's what I'm saying. I think that's the annoying thing about this whole situation, because for the past few weeks, the media has been hyping up the Eagles and the 49ers as like dangerous teams to play in the playoffs. They have an identity and you don't want to face them. And then as soon as we get matched up against another team in the playoffs, they're like, oh, they're easily going to lose. What was the whole point of that whole hyping us up for? Like, do you believe it or do you not believe it?
It's the Brady effect.
The Eagles fans will click it every time.
What's his face? Dan Orlovsky was hyping up the Eagles for weeks, and immediately he's like, they have no chance.
Yeah, no, he's weird. He hypes up the Eagles all the time, and he obviously hyped up Wentz, and he.
Well, that's what he's always hyping up the Eagles and Wentz, but then he said, if the Eagles beat Tampa Bay, it'll be as big of an upset or an even bigger upset than the Colts losing to the Jaguars this week, which is frankly insane. We have a much better chance of beating the Bucs than the Jaguars.
The Colts were a 10-win team, or they should have been a 10-win team, and the Jaguars are the worst team in the NFL. That's a ridiculous statement.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, Dallas does suck, but What were you gonna say, Flay, before we turn to?
I was just gonna say we were ready to we're gonna slide over to the next
So
Yeah, I feel like we were already kind of segueing going into the Bucks game.
we
The
we can go
fucking
into the
Bucks.
Bucks and then we'll end maybe season talk. We'll see where we stand on
I was gonna
time.
say there wasn't their season review, season feelings.
Oh yeah, we
Let's
could
get
do
Um,
that.
that.
We could do that.
All right, let's jump in then. So again, for me, exceeded expectations, right? I think even though my prediction, earlier this year was 9-8, so hit exactly on my expectations. But I said an average team that could go to playoffs with a 9-8 record and win the division because of how bad the division was last year. Obviously, they didn't do that. Um, this feels like a 10-17, but I said 9-8 record, knowing that it's a transition year. I expect them to be average, but I didn't expect a lot. And we all said it. We were giving Sirianni at least a year, right, to see how this plays out. First year for Sirianni, what we counted as a first year for Jalen Hurts. Let's see how it plays out. See if there are guys for next year. For me, it was just hope. Can we get answers for this year to know what direction are we going into next year, right? Are we riding with Jalen? Are we riding with Sirianni? Or do we really need to just do an overhaul and make some changes to everything? Um, I think we got the answers we needed, plus more. We're going to the playoffs. We have 3 first-round picks. We offloaded that terrible contract in Carson Wentz, and it looked like a huge, big slay play by Howie to do that, to get those
Big win.
picks and get rid of Carson.
Crazy.
Just looking at the Jacksonville upset last week. So as far as where we stand today, 9-8 going to playoffs, facing Tom Brady, about to beat him, about to go to the Super Bowl. Uh, I would say it's a pretty good year. I would say that's a success, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think?
Uh,
Yeah, I just wanted to
go ahead. Flo.
I wanted to call out a lot of the stuff that I saw a little earlier out in the season. People calling for a Sirianni resignation after we hit that 4-game losing streak there to put us at 2-6. Um, it's the NFL, and the way that you build good teams is by building a culture, and you don't build a culture by firing a first-year coach. 8 games in.
Yeah.
You gotta let this stuff work out, and we're kind of seeing the fruits of that, blossom now. And we'll kind of, hope that he can take this playoff experience, regardless of whether we get bounced in the first round or if we take it to the Bucks, which I think we really are. Definitely have a good chance of. It's going to be a solid amount of experience for Sirianni and just this team overall moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, Sirianni, I think, exceeded all of the NFL's expectations, let alone just the Philadelphia. The way I looked at it earlier in the season, I think I was the one who predicted 7 wins this year at the very beginning of the season. So obviously we over performed in that manner. I think the biggest problem I had like with projecting a like a playoff team this year was I didn't have trust in like us having an identity, and I didn't see like our offense having any kind of like consistent way to win games or put up points. Jalen obviously proved me wrong because he pretty much led the charge on the running game, and that snowballed into us being the best team in the NFL at the running game, which is crazy. I don't think anybody would have thought that was going to happen, especially since Miles was in and out a lot this year, and the backups, Boston Scott and Jordan Howard, stepped up in an insane way. But I think the real pride of our team is something I forgot about, and it's our offensive line. Our offensive line is unbelievable. I feel like it's like we've kind of forgotten about it because they've been so injured the last couple of years, like, and they've just been rotating guys in and out. Now that we got Jordan Mailata and Dickerson in there, some young blood mixed with these veterans, it's a sight that I don't think anybody wants to see in the playoffs, and I think it's going to potentially carry us to a win against the Bucks. And I mean, Jason Kelsey had and one of it maybe his best year yet, and he's we thought he was on his way out. It's kind of insane how much those guys performed this year. They really carry the team, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jason Kelsey reminded us how much of an asset and a leader he is on this team. I think he might have went out for one game and we saw like or like a couple plays even, and we saw the difference in how the team reacted because of that. Um, and we said that in the very beginning, like what would put us in the winning column is probably a healthy O line. compared to anything else. And that's the one thing that's, when we were unsure about receivers, when we were unsure, is Jalen actually the guy or not? Because we did kind of waver there in the beginning of the season. Defense wasn't good, but the one thing that stayed true the entire way was the offensive line. We just needed to make that adjustment to let them do their thing and run the ball, a lot more.
I
So
think that's what they were calling for last year. I mean, weren't the guys, I think Lane and a couple of guys were saying like, we want to run the ball. Like we should be running the ball more. I think that's one of the
Yep.
things that got Doug Peterson fired, honestly, is that he just refused to run the ball. And they showed what they can do if you just let them eat. I mean, the run game is a lot better. It's a lot easier for an offensive lineman. I feel like we all know that. It's like it's a lot less painful than defending the pass rush. So, and when you got guys out there that have been veterans and that have won Super Bowls, I think you got to like put it in their hands.
And that's what we did. So what I would say is, what would you have done differently then? We're saying it's a successful season, but what would have made us a better team this year, looking
Let
back
me
at it?
just real quick. Can I say my impressions of the
Sure.
Yeah.
season?
Sure.
Okay, I just wanted to say like compared to from where we were last year at the end of the season to where we are now, it it feels good, baby. You know what I mean? Like
It's one of the
Wentz,
fastest turnarounds
To
of
put
all
it
time,
to
really.
put it
we were going
simply,
in, we were what like 4-12 last year, and we were going into like a horrible situation, 50 million or what was like 35 million dead cap from Wentz, and then we make this decision to not draft a quarterback, trust Hurts, get Sirianni, get Gannon. It starts off where it's like none of them look like they're potentially going to be long-term answers, and then by the end of the season, we have Sirianni who's like a coach of the year candidate. People are trying to hire Jonathan Gannon as a head coach. Um, Jalen Hurts looks better in every single aspect of the game than he looks better than Wentz did in every single aspect of the game. Our offensive line, they at the end of last year, they seemed like they were maybe a little bit injury prone. They were getting old. Lane Johnson is looks rejuvenated. Kelsey looks rejuvenated. We're like a lizard whose tail gets cut off and then it grows back. It's like we're losing spots, and then Mailata steps up, Dickerson steps up, and they look like potential answers for the future. Even Sayamala looked good, and like other players that stepped in throughout the year. I think that it's sick to see the run game being this good. Sanders didn't have the year that we wanted him to have, but Howard's back and Howard's better than he's been in years, and we're taking advantage of that. Devontae Smith looks like an all-star stud for years to come. Slay looks better than he ever has. Um, Sweat's been taking steps. I don't know. I think everybody on the team has taken a collective step forward. I think we have like $50 million in cap space for next year free. We've got the 3 first-round picks, the 2 second-round picks that are almost first-round picks because they're so high up. I think we're going to be able to sign like a huge wide receiver free agent to be like our wide receiver too. Maybe somebody like DJ Chark. Obviously, we'd like somebody like Adams, but I don't know if we're going to spend that much money on another wide receiver.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to be able to retool the whole defense and maybe get a few more defensive line picks for the future. With those picks that we have, and even like a position like the linebackers, we didn't even really invest anything in the linebackers, and our linebacking group is just way better. McLeod is like a new defensive leader. I don't know, just everything about the team. I'm
yeah.
so stoked for the future, and at the end of last year, I was so hopeless. I just felt so
So was
hopeless
I.
with the team.
I
It's a huge turnaround.
it seemed like we were going into
Yeah.
like a maybe 2 to 3 year, just like maybe winning like 5 games, like something like that, like, and just not really having anything to go off of it. Now it's just like we're in the playoffs with 3 first-round picks. Like, this is crazy.
We could win the Super Bowl in the next 2 or 3 years now. It feels like,
It does feel that
if
way.
not
Well,
this year.
If we make the
if
right
it,
decisions in the next couple of years, dude, I mean, we could be a contender for a couple of years to come.
It feels like we're going in the right direction. As long as we improve every year, that's kind of the thing. And the thing is, you start with the building blocks of Sirianni and Jalen, so you can build around them for years to come. It looks like, and we're going in the right direction. We got the answers we needed, but they're good answers. Like everybody took a step up. I mean, there's probably a few downs to that. Like Fletcher Cox starting to look older in his age, looking his actual age. Barnett maybe not panning out to where we want him to be, but I think the bright spots, kind of balance that out, or even push us even more in the right direction when you have a Josh Sweat getting 7.5
Javon
sacks on the
Hargrave
season
had a
and the way
great
he did.
year.
Hargrave coming back into full form. I mean, a lot of great things. So I would say, knowing that, is there anything that Sirianni could have done better? We can always say he could have made those adjustments earlier, but
I know.
I just think it's a first, from a first year head coach, I think you kind of got to go through like that learning curve and then, make the adjustments. So I don't know if things would ever have happened differently. We and I think in that Raiders game he started to see that he needed to change, make those adjustments. Even Gannon did. If it's Sirianni or Gannon on the defensive side, I'm
Well,
not entirely sure because we cut Eric Wilson, we started playing Singleton less, we started putting TJ Edwards more in there, and obviously that made the biggest of difference. From a linebacker perspective, so we made the changes that made all the difference. I think Sirianni just wants to have a process. He wants to be confident in that process. He said it in his latest interview. Going into the playoffs, he's going to stick to his process. Right, he's not going to change just because of the name playoffs. Now, nothing's going to be different from what he's been doing that's working. I just feel like Sirianni. He just reminds me of Ted Lasso. Like he trusts his guys. He goes back to his guys. Like even Rieger. I remember one game through a screen. Rieger either dropped it or was like a loss of a couple yards. Did the exact same play a couple plays later, ended up being an 11-yard play. So he has trust in these guys, even when the city's down on Rieger, even when everybody's down on these guys. He has faith in them, and I feel like he's a guy you can get behind from a player perspective. You can know that he's going to back you up, and so as far as a culture perspective, he sticks to his process. I don't know if he could have done anything differently.
I
Um, that really would have been made too much of a difference, just because he has to go through that learning curve, right?
one, I mean, he did a great job like making those midseason adjustments and everything. One thing that still hasn't changed really is that I think that needs to change in this playoff game is the slow starts. The slow starts
Yeah.
keep happening. That really hasn't changed at all this
Yeah.
year. I mean, even against both games against Washington, we went up down 10 points. We ended up winning the games. Washington's a bad team though, so I mean, it's tough. You can't go down 10 points against the BUCCS. That ain't gonna fly.
It's not going to fly in playoffs.
No, and not really to anybody really. It's gonna be interesting to see because I think it's not necessarily all Sirianni. I think a lot of it is the defensive side of the ball. I think Gannon needs to stop letting these guys have like these first quarter 8 minute drives that kind of just don't let us get the ball for like most of the first quarter, and then we go into the second quarter with 0 or 3 points or something like that. That's got to change. But other than that, he's had a good year, and the like I said, the adjustments that he made to the running game, and really also getting Devontae Smith the ball a lot more, because I think that's something in the game of the year we didn't see that we wanted to see.
I've got a question. Actually, well, I got a few things to say actually. I 100% agree with you, Brits. I think that it's been our Achilles heel all year are these slow starts. It seems like our team starts playing in the second half, which it's weird. I feel like I don't know if it can be Sirianni because it almost feels like this has been a problem for longer than he's been here. It felt like that for me the past 2 years. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But I don't know. I also just wanted to say like I appreciate the fact that like you said, Caputi, he is sort of like a player's coach. He will design specific things in the offense to players, and he won't just give up on them. But if there's something that needs to be changed, and he has the ability to change it, he will make that change. Like you're saying, cutting Eric Wilson, stopping playing Singletary as much as he did. I don't know. I really appreciate his just ability to not be like super stubborn and just completely change his philosophy if he needs to. And then I don't know. I lost my third point. That's where I'm at right now. I don't know.
think Clay wanted to say something.
Yeah, Clay, what do you got?
I was agreeing with you, Jackson. Honestly, it's just the fact that he was able to make that change is probably the most promising sign of all.
Yeah, that's something that
I
Not
think we've seen
necessarily
with
some.
certain people that you can get buried in, and
Yeah.
a failure to change can definitely not be a bad thing too.
It's because like especially in like all aspects of his game, he's just continued to evolve through the whole season. Like, do you guys remember the first few games? It almost felt like we lost the games because we were getting penalized so much, and just
Yeah.
weird penalties too.
Yeah.
And since then, it's really just not happened.
life.
He figured out how to fix it.
It's one thing that's kind of nice, like kind of cool, is about this team is that you got Nick Sirianni as a first year head coach, you got Rich Gannon as a first year coach, and you got Jalen Hurts as a first year starter. It's like it's kind of like they're like growing together, and I feel like they're all like like it's like they're just all stepping up at the same like time. And I think that's like something that you don't get a lot in the NFL, and then when it's actually working, like they are getting better instead of just like all these guys are all first year guys like and our records 4-12. Like it's not the same thing. It's like you got three guys that are on like this rise in their careers, and we're also playing well. Like you don't see that a lot, I feel like, in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually one or the other, right? Like maybe the coach is scheming things the right way, but as far as like the actual players, like they're not
Right.
quite there yet. And so
Like
it's
kind of
like,
like
okay,
Flores and Tua.
we have like a losing record, or we didn't make playoffs, but there's like promise to the future because the coach is the right guy. Like
Yeah.
so everything kind of lined up, stars kind of aligned, all at the same time.
Yeah.
But
Let's get into
what
the
what would you rather have, a 30-year-old Carson with 2 first-round picks, or a 23-year-old Jalen and 3 first-rounders and a third,
I feel like it's
and
an
and not
obvious
We've ever
answer.
asked.
Yeah.
not $15 million to pay in 2022, still a
Yes.
rookie contract to pay. So
Yes, easiest
I
answer in the
would.
world.
that's kind of
I don't think.
crazy.
I don't think anybody would want Wentz, even if Wentz was the one with the $2 million contract and Hurts was the one with the $50
With the
million
the
contract.
15,
You can't trust him. He sucks.
still take Hurts with the 15 million. I like it. I agree. I agree. Um, Real quick before we turn to the playoff talk with the Bucks. Let me throw up my screen for you, because as much as we are good predictors of how the game and the season went this year, we were also pretty off on some things. So the only thing we were right on was the record and Josh Sweat sacks, but they didn't win the division. Jalen didn't hit his 4,000 mark, but he basically hit that for all purpose with the rushing yards. Sanders, 750 yards, playing 12 games. So if he plays the full season, again, the same talk on Sanders as it is every season. Could hit there if he was actually available. Hit that 1,000 rush mark. Smith, pretty damn close. Defense, pretty damn close, but not quite there. So we were probably right on the mark with our numbers.
I mean, Flay and Brits, good job. You guys were
But
pretty accurate.
but
I was gonna say, yeah.
you guys are pretty right on as a group.
Did I say we're going to
Yeah,
win the division?
you did.
Damn.
I think we probably persuaded you.
Well, this is after week one.
But
I don't. I think
this
before.
was
I think
probably
before we. I think
yeah.
week one really got me going.
Prior to week
Yeah.
one, I was saying 9-8, and after week one, I switched to I think 14-2 or
Yeah,
14-3.
you were
Right?
like,
Yeah.
we're gonna
I
be
was
the
all
number
in.
one seed in the NFL.
But we weren't far off. So and then playing Berts, you're kind of right on there. So good job. Good job.
We know who the realists are in the group.
Yeah,
Fair
just
enough.
just professional analyst here.
But playoff time, boys. Playoff time. What
Yep.
needs to happen for us to win this game on Sunday? What do we need to see?
We gotta diversify the run early. Gotta.
Yeah.
I'm
That
down to hit
is-
them with a different running back, like every play of the drive to start it off. Just keep it unpredictable. Don't let their defense get into any sort of rhythm. On
Yeah.
the defensive side of the ball, just keep getting the pressure onto Brady. I'm sure he is, definitely thinking back to that fateful night in February.
Yep.
Brandon Graham got to him, took that ball right out of his hand.
Let's get in his head. So you said that diversify the backfield. Do you play Miles Sanders? He might be active.
I think if he's active, you definitely play him.
Yeah.
I think that you hit them with at least a three-headed dragon of Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, and Boston Scott.
Yeah.
If one of them seems particularly hot, ride the wave. But I think that the diversity at the running game is clearly a strength of ours that is going to be something that we need to tap into for the playoffs.
Yeah,
I
I
100%
agree.
agree.
Diversify the running game, but I would almost diversify it in like a way where it's like we start out just banging them hard with Jordan Howard, get them tired, and then once they're tired, start to hit them with Boston Scott and Miles Sanders, like so that Miles Sanders is fresh and he can just zoom right through and get like one of his infamous massive carries that he always gets.
Yeah.
It's I just don't think
Yeah.
I think just because it's Brady and that they won the Super Bowl last year, everybody's treating this game like it's almost unwinnable and that they're happy if we even make it like a competitive game. But like they are pretty injured.
Yeah.
They almost just lost to the Jets like 2 weeks ago. And I don't know, I really think this is a game that we have like a pretty decent chance of winning.
I agree. I mean, they lost Godwin, they lost Antonio Brown. If you look at their record without Antonio Brown, it's like 500. They're like I think they're literally 8-0 with Antonio Brown playing games. And I mean, he's obviously a huge guy for Brady. He's been going at him all year long. Chris Godwin is one of the best receivers in the NFL. I don't know if Fournette's playing. I think he will probably be off the
He's
IR.
iffy.
Yeah, I think he's going to be off the IR. I just don't know if he's going to play. But he's obviously a huge part of their game. Like they have a good run game. They're as much as Brady likes to throw the ball, they do have a good 1-2 punch. I think the key to this game offensively, like you guys said, like obviously, the run game's got to be strong,
Yeah, just
but
don't lose our identity.
the Bucks defense or the Bucks secondary is not that strong this year. They've had a lot of issues back there. I think getting Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith involved early in this game is going to be a big factor. I think you have to go with your guys that are playmakers and try to get them rolling. Also, I know like obviously we said slow starts can't happen. We gotta have like a good first drive, man. There can't be like a free and out. Like we gotta get
Yeah.
it. Like we gotta get them
Yeah.
scared. Get them on play on their heels. Know that we're here to play. It can't just
On
be
the
like
opposite side of that, we can't let Brady come up on the first offensive drive and take 8 to 9 to 10 minutes on the
right,
clock.
Yeah.
right. Gannon's got to
Would-
have a scheme
Yeah.
that he knows is gonna be. Dude, I mean, feel like a lot of people have said this in the past, but like, I think everybody knows the key to Brady, and it's our key to beating Brady, and it's literally you can't blitz him. You have to get sacks with four guys. Like you have to get pressure with four guys. Because if you blitz him, he's just gonna dump it off. He's gonna read it and he's gonna get a big chunk play out of it. The defensive line has to step up. Maybe send like a 5-man at him a couple times, but like I feel like blitzing him is not the play, and I think a lot of people in Philly are like, oh, we gotta be aggressive. We gotta be aggressive. It's just not historically how you beat Tom Brady though.
Well, I've got a question for you. What do you think the key is on defense? Because the way I'm seeing it is that obviously we got to cover Mike Evans. I feel like Slay can do a good job against Mike Evans. I don't know if he's going to shut him down, but Mike Evans always has those, like, he has a ton of games every year where he only gets like 30 yards or something. And I really think Slay, if anybody's going to hold him to something like that, it could be Slay.
Yeah.
I know we have to worry about Leonard Fournette if he comes back. That's obviously a worry with our linebacking core, but I think we're pretty good against the run, so I don't think he's going to cause enough damage to end the game for us. I think what we really have to worry about is Goddard, and if we have anybody to slow Goddard down. I think we do. Like I think
You mean
McLeod.
Gronk?
Me, Gronk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
did I
Gronk.
say?
Goddard.
Got
But
her.
yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Gronk's gonna be an
we gotta
issue.
slow Gronk, dude. I think McLeod can do it. I don't know if he can. Well, is Maddox gonna be back? Because I feel like Maddox, with the year he's having, could potentially be up for the challenge.
I think he'll probably be back if he was on that original COVID list, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's playing because he's been a stud all year long. That would be
He's been
real
great.
tough. Yeah, Gronk.
I-
I mean, Gronk's not as scary as he used to be, but I mean, all last year in the playoffs in the Super Bowl, he was great. He looked like old Gronk. So I don't know. They're probably gonna dial up some plays for him. We have to be able to be ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I'll start defensively. I think you're right on the mark, Brits. I mean, Brady, he'll just easily go to his check down pass or dump, which he could absolutely tear apart this linebacking core with Gronk and Cameron Brate. I mean, he could just simply do that all day if he wants to, and Brady will just throw to whoever he has to win. So I think I think you kind of have to be perfect on defense in a way. Just get the pressure with the 4 guys, but then cover receivers long enough, which I think can be done. I think Mike Evans is just a guy he's a great like red zone, over the top, aggressive type, receiver. I don't think he's a yards type of guy. So I think Slay, as far as speed, can definitely stick with him. I do worry about like the height difference and kind of like the disadvantage
He's huge.
there. I
Yeah.
think he can catch some big balls all over the top, but and Gronk's just a monster to begin with as well. But if you can cover those guys tight enough, just to throw Brady off with some pressure from a Hargraves, I think you'll get the pressure inside. Um, I think that's where you win the game. But offensively, I think this is where, yes, you go to those playmakers like Smith, but I think you got to stick to your game. I don't think you should change it up now at this point. Don't be scared by the fact that we're playing Brady. Stick to who we are, to our identity. Whether that's like you said, hitting Jordan Howard up the hole and then Miles Sanders for those big explosive plays. I think just stick to what we've been doing, and then that's what you got to hope for. Don't be scared by the fact that the BUCCS has a top D line, because what we put up over 200 yards against the Saints in the first rushing defense. So
Yeah.
can't be scared of what you're going up against. Just do what you do best.
Yeah, because we've basically literally proven that we're a matchup proof. We have a matchup proof running game. So like,
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. Don't stop it. Run it more than you think you should run it, if anything.
Final predictions.
And before you, just one last note on that too. The best way to beat Brady is really just keep him off the field, and you
Right.
do that by the running game, time of possession.
Right.
Have your offense be your best defense really for Sunday,
Break his
Exactly.
legs.
and also just break his legs. With that said,
Yeah,
anybody got numbers? Got numbers?
let's get these final predictions. I have a bold final prediction. I
Mine-
want to say
mine
before
is-
that.
I wanna-
Yours first, Jackson.
minus
go
eight
last.
line. Minus 8 line against
Is
the
it
most
-8?
It's disrespectful.
That's a
Against
lot. I thought it was gonna be like 5.
the
It
most
was -7
winningest.
earlier today.
Maybe it went
It
down.
went
I
up.
think.
Yeah, more than a
Um,
touchdown spread. That's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
I think that if we're gonna win this one, we gotta keep it close. We gotta keep it low score.
You think?
I
There's
mean,
no way we're scoring
if
less
you-
than 30. I feel
I
like.
think if you get
I
into a
think it's-
shootout,
I think it's a
you're definitely not
31.
winning.
I think it's a 31-24 game. So touchdown
my pick.
difference. But I think we have to score big here. I think you got to score big. Brady's going to put up points. He's going to do it. So
Yeah, you can't
I'll
expect him
go-
not to. He's 100%
I'll go 30-27.
30-27.
Birds by 3. It's a tight boy.
Tight one.
so,
We're all in that same ballpark. I think I'll let you go last,
Yeah.
Brits. I know you wanted to go last.
yeah.
I'm saying 31-28. Birds win it on a last-second field goal, and Brady takes
Okay.
his uniform off, a la Antonio Brown, and throws it to the stands, and leaves the field like that, never to be seen in the NFL.
Well,
again.
we all know if he loses, he's not gonna shake Jalen's hand.
Well,
I-
we know that. We know
I
that.
expect Arians to be on the stand at the end of the game saying, "Tom Brady's no longer a Buck."
I think Tom Brady is gonna be the one saying Bruce Arians no longer a Buck. I think we all know who runs that team.
Fired that day. I think we should hire Nick Foles for a day just to be a captain, go out, shake hands
Yeah.
with Brady for the coin
That's the
flip.
coin flip. Oh yeah.
All right,
But
I have
yeah.
my prediction.
Come
Be
on.
the ultimate way to
let's
get in
see.
his head.
I'm gonna say 24-23.
Ooh.
24-23. Birds win it. Brady's marching. Brady's got the ball marching downfield, just like the Super Bowl, and we're gonna get a fucking turnover to end the game,
Just like the Super Bowl.
just like the Super Bowl. That's my
Oh,
bold
man.
statement. 24-23. We got the 1-point lead.
Here-
Brady's got the
here-
ball, and we stop him.
Here's my prediction. If we're not up by at least a touchdown and Brady has the ball in his hands with two minutes plus,
It's terrifying. So terrifying.
we're gonna lose.
Yeah,
We're gonna
no, we're not.
if we're up a touchdown, which is what my prediction suggests, then we will win 31-24. You heard
I
it
just
here
think
first.
there's always that chance he's got that ball driving down the field. He looks into the stands, he sees some of those dog masks on, he gets a little bit of PTSD, and he just throws a pick or something.
It's it's 6
Big
seconds
play
on the clock.
Slay.
6 seconds on the clock, 23-yard line. He could have thrown it to Antonio Brown, but because he was pissed off, doesn't get the touchdown to Cameron Brate. Whoever the backup is, loses.
I almost want to say,
31-24.
not only is he going to throw an interception to end the game, like Brits are saying, like a turnover or whatever, I think it's going to be, surprise, surprise, JJ Arcega-Whiteside with the interception. He's for some reason playing defense because he plays every position. Tight end JJ.
Jackson thinks that JJ Arcega-Whiteside is going to be playing defense. Brady's going to take his jersey off and throw it in the stands and quit. And Bruce Arians going to be fired in the same game.
Let me dream.
Oh man, no. The Bucs are going to be winning. It's going to be Brady's going to have the ball, and he's going to fake knee it, throw it for a pick. We're gonna run the defensive touchdown back, but only because of JJ Arcega-Whiteside's key block to get our guy into the end zone because he's a blocking receiver.
No, he's gonna come off the sidelines. He's gonna come off the sidelines and be the 12th man and get us a penalty.
12th man.
Blocker in the league.
But on that note, do you guys want to end on Sixers and this Embiid magic that's going on right now?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think we got to touch on it a little bit, right? Flay,
Just
what do you
gotta
got to
shout
say?
him out. Just gotta shout him out. I mean, we all know that Embiid's a dominant. He's the most Philly athlete on any team that we have in this city.
Maybe of all time.
Definitely up there, top 5, no doubt.
I want to go have a drink with him and Jason Kelsey.
Oh my god.
Shirley Temples only, bro. I think on the whole, looking back at the Sixers season, where we're at now, so far, they could definitely have been playing better, but also you got to think that they're playing without one of their max contracts, and another one of their max contracts, Tobias, plays not like a max contract whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of on the team trade Toby train now, and I think that somehow we got to now try to offload both Ben and Toby's contract and, kind of build from there. I think we're very fortunate to have some guys like Maxey and Matisse and even Furkan who have taken, definite strides from
Seth
last
Curry.
year. Yeah, Seth as well. I couldn't forget him. He's more deserving, I would say, of a max contract than Toby, but I would say even Seth is like, a little bit a tier or two under like that max contract player.
I agree. I don't think Seth should be a max contract player. He's clearly outplaying his contract that he has now. But yeah, like you said, like Toby, I know he's in his head and he says he's going to get better. What was that?
I said, go on, get him out of here.
Go on, get him out of here, dude.
I'm done, dude. I'm done with Toby.
You went off of Toby's wild ride?
Yeah. He's just so wildly inconsistent, man. Like on one second he'll drive the entire floor and slam it, and the next second he misses a layup, gets his own rebound, and then misses the follow up, within 5 feet of the basket. Like, what are you doing, dude? Come on.
Well, not only it's I don't know. The thing with Toby is like he has a bad season and then he has a good season like last year, and then he has a bad season. And it's like we're paying you to be not only have a good season, have a better season than you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
And it sucks because he's on such a bad contract, and then like
an investment.
We have Danny Green, who is just like not playing to where we want Danny Green to play, and also just getting mad that the fans are booing him because he's missing every shot. It's like, if you don't want us to boo, play better, dude. You freaking
well, I mean, we knew Danny Green was bitch made at the beginning of the season. We had touched on that earlier too.
Yeah.
Dude, the Sixers situation sucks because it's just like we had so much like championship hope, and now it just seems like it's going right down the tube. And
here's what I want to say, because like I know you're saying it's going down the tube, but like I think the fact that we have Seth Curry, Maxey, Thibault, Isaiah Joe's playing better. Niang is like a freaking
I like
beast.
Niang a lot, yeah.
And it's like Drummond's good. I think that like we have those two unfortunate contracts in Danny Green and Tobias, and I guess also Ben Simmons. If we didn't have them, obviously, and we replaced them, we'd be amazing, but we can't. It's just, I think with how good Embiid is, because like he was amazing last year, but he's improved drastically again, which doesn't even make any sense. He's got to be like the best player in the league, if not like number 2. And I think if you have him on your team, no matter what, you have a chance to win.
It's just tough because he's a center, dude. It's like that's the only thing that's I feel like holding like back the team. It's just not holding back the team, obviously, but like I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
like
when you're
He's
Tobias
holding them
isn't
up.
necessarily a sharpshooter, and Ben was a never shooter. So
yeah,
I mean, when
it's just like you
your other
need
guy's a center, you need someone who can put the ball in the bucket. That's why Seth compliments him a lot better, and
right.
Maxey compliments him a lot better, on the court than
Just
Ben.
needs a guy, man. He just needs
Yeah.
another superstar that's consistent
Yeah.
around him, and he just we have not had that.
I just think the big problem that we've seen also that might make you guys think that we're in a worse position than we are was that we had such inconsistent lineups. It felt like everybody on the team got sick at like different times and injured and stuff. We had so many lineups that we've been playing with, and it's I don't know. It's just come to a point where it's like you have to consistently play with the same roster to gel with them, and I don't think they've had the time to gel after um, being put in a situation where they have to, pretty much re-identify themselves. Since Simmons isn't here anymore.
Yeah, I mean, when you like, if you
They
look
won
at it,
7 in a row.
yeah, I know they're playing good. It's just tough to see them winning like the Eastern Conference Championship or the finals with this roster they have now. Like if you look at all the championship teams, like they all have that thing in common where they have like at least 2 consistent superstar players. I mean that's just how you win in the NBA. So it's like if we're paying 2 guys that are supposed to be superstars, but like they never
But they're
proved it.
not.
They never
They're
even proved it before before when we paid them, and we just
Yeah.
paid them before they got to that point, and now we're just we're sitting in the spot that we built. Like you're gonna
Well, yeah.
pay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
First and foremost, fuck Elton Brand. He's stupid fucking GM. Horrible. Literally
Yep.
gave out like the worst contracts ever. Made the worst trades I've ever seen. I just thank God we have Maury, who is not stupid and is looking at this situation, and I think probably thinking the same things you are, Joe. And
Yeah,
he's gonna, I think, work as hard as he possibly can to acquire that piece that Embiid needs to really
yeah.
take us to that next level.
I think
I,
he will too. It's just now he just has even a smaller window though. He just like to work with. There's only like a
well, yeah.
few more
Just
years really.
shrinks every year.
I just think
Yeah.
I just think that like this situation that we're in is pretty, recent. Like he hasn't really had much time to actually
Yeah, no,
make that move, and I think that I just don't want to get to a point where like we're criticizing the team so much that we don't give Embiid the credit that he deserves or whatever, because he is
no,
playing out
he's
of his mind right now. It's quite frankly
I
insane.
don't I don't think
Yeah.
anyone in the Philly area is doing that. So
I j-
I don't want that to detract from what Embiid is, but I'm basically here to agree with all you guys. Like to Britz's point, I feel like we're paying all stars that aren't actually all stars. If you have Embiid in this team, I feel like it's a minimum. We're making playoffs. We're probably making the second round, but it feels like you need to have that extra all star just to put you over the edge to get, with
yeah.
like Giannis and like Chris Middleton kind of stepping up and like being that second role. I feel like if we just had that, if like Ben was who he was supposed to be, if Toby should just have never gotten that contract. But if Ben
Yeah,
was
no.
supposed was
His agent's
who
the
he was
greatest agent
supposed
in
to
the world.
be, then then who knows? Then we're at least conference finals, and then we're talking finals too. But I
It
feel like you
comes,
just need those
dude.
two guys
It
to get
comes
there.
back. It comes back to just. Well, I feel like we've talked about this a couple times. That the oh god, I'm blanking on his name right now. The
Kawhi,
20 no
John,
the 20 yeah the 2019 team that we had that was the team.
yeah,
But with when we had Butler,
Butler,
Yeah, Jimmy
Butler,
Butler. I don't know how I literally just had it. Yeah, Jimmy Butler. Like that team was the team. That
yeah.
that was the one that we were supposed to win, and then we just got screwed by a lucky shot.
it's so freaking sad too because Jimmy Butler literally wanted to come back to the Sixers, and the Sixers chose to buy us over him, which was
Oh,
no,
it's a stupid move now. It was just as stupid of a move now as it
Ben,
was back then. It didn't make any sense.
yeah.
yeah. With the Sixers too, I want the narrative to stop that. It's just a media narrative that Morey's not good because he hasn't dealt Simmons yet. But I mean,
It's impossible situation.
It's a possible situation. Compare what he's done and kind of like what he's the pieces that he's picked up from Ellen Brand and the comparison there. It's just so different.
He's in such a terrible spot, dude.
And what else do you do at this point?
I just feel like the situation is like in the NBA, if you're making a trade, salaries have to match. So if we traded Simmons just for like random players like people wanted us to, we'd still be in the same situation. Like we might have
It's a loss.
slightly better players that are
loss.
actually playing, but like at that point, then we lose any chance to actually get that superstar that we need. So I think in him keeping Simmons and waiting for like an actual deal to appear, it's that doing that is making it so that we still have a chance to get that superstar.
Yeah.
As opposed to just kind of giving up.
I think that is the move. I mean, I think what like Flay said earlier. I think it was actually before we went live, but maybe at this point, maybe the only play is to pair them to Tobias and Ben and try to get a superstar and then maybe picks, maybe another like lower tier player, whatever. Pair them together, get them both out, get at least one superstar. I think the team looks a lot better at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible. I have no idea if it's possible because the NBA is so hard.
It's 2 max contracts.
Yeah, it's so difficult.
It might be hard to do that.
Yeah.
To get at least to even get one if you have to pair up a couple max guys on the other side.
And the thing about Toby also is he looked so good last year too, and it looked like we were coming around to him. He still wasn't a max player last year because he was still inconsistent. But like, I don't know. He's just not. Like we've said it a million times, he's just not a consistent superstar.
The reason Toby's doing bad this year is because Toby had so much success in the offense that Ben Simmons ran, where it was like quick transition, get the ball, throw it, and just make a quick move and score. This year without Simmons, we're not playing transitionally as much, and he's instead of just getting the ball, making like a quick move and scoring, he's got to like create his own shot or like make his own opportunities, and that's just not what he's good at. And so like like if we traded them both together, you could theoretically say that like Tobias would get back to his regular form if he played with Simmons again. It's just in this situation, I just don't think it's what he's good at, and that sucks because it probably means that he's not gonna improve really. Yeah,
I mean, it comes down to like if you're gonna pay a guy that much money, he should probably be able to make his own shot or create his own shot. It just comes down to the bad decision to give him that money.
And I just don't want to hold out to wait for him to get better. At this point, you should be what you are, and I'm not going to hold out for Toby to get better when we already know what Embiid is. Like, let's find a guy who we know what they are, what their identity is, and that works with Embiid to actually get us farther in the playoffs. Like,
To be honest, with how good Embiid is, we don't really need to find somebody who's like that good. We just need somebody who's consistent and can play like a decent level.
Bradley Beal would be a great player to have on this team.
I mean, Bradley Beal would be amazing.
It would be great.
And I feel like we a lot of people like were saying like we don't want Bradley Beal, like he's not as good as the guy we need, but like I feel like he worked pretty damn well on this team.
No,
I don't think anyone was saying that.
I've never heard anyone say that.
I feel like before the season
to is saying that.
I could have sworn before the season everybody was like, oh, it's Dame or nothing. Like we need a guy like Dame. Like
nah, I mean people wanted Dame more than Beal, but the argument was Dame or Beal because they were both great options for us. I think.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was looking at the wrong people, but
all right.
The thing was nobody wanted CJ McCollum, which is what the Blazers were trying to give us.
Yeah.
And I still think that's the case. Like CJ McCollum obviously would be better than the situation we have now, but I think if you trade for CJ McCollum, there goes your championship window.
Yeah, probably.
That might be all we can get at this point, which is sad. But it's just I don't know if there is any hope. But
time will tell. Time will tell. People's like GM's jobs are gonna start getting a little dicey. The seat's gonna get hot as we get deeper into the year, and I really think trade deadline something could happen.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll get to that point. Might put the pressure on a little bit. All right, guys, let's wrap up. Unless you want final talking points, Play.
Just real quick, I wanted to say if the Sixers were stupid enough to pay Tobias Harris that much money, somebody has to be stupid enough to trade Ben Simmons.
Well, that's. I feel like there's got to be. Well, somebody's probably gonna be stupid enough for that, but I feel like you just got to pair up the trade for another bad contract out there. In the so maybe you get another bad contract, but you get an all-star out of it. I don't know. It's just a shitty situation to begin with. But
Team let Ben Simmons retire so we can just get him off the Bucks.
I'm down. Fuck it.
Yeah, find any loophole you can at this point. So
Yeah, I'm not even gonna act like I know what to do in this situation. It's so fucked. It's like
I'm not
nobody,
a GM in the
nobody's ever
NBA.
seen this situation that we're in.
I don't know.
It's actually insane.
It is.
And
of
we'll
course,
leave it at that.
Of course, only in Philly.
Worry, we put it in your hands.
Let's leave it with.
And with that, guys, we're gonna cut Jackson right off and come in for a landing.
Launch and land it.
Launch, land it. We hit the stars.
Already?
Me and Jackson were spacemen this weekend.
Yes,
yeah,
we
you
were.
guys were spacemen. Maybe I'll
That's
put that.
right,
Maybe I'll
that's
put that
right.
as
Well,
the.
landing
Partying with some
dance floor.
space cadets.
I'm gonna put that picture as the outro.
Oh no, with our space glasses. Oh jeez.
Zoomed in
Love
on
to
both
see
your guys' face, cropping in.
This pod has launched and landed just like Tom Brady's jersey will be doing in the stands this coming Sunday.
All right, sounds good to me. It's good enough outro. Peace out, guys.
Peace.
See you guys.